Hello, people of YouTube. It's Deephack here, and welcome to the stream, the live stream with the DCS news. I hope that you guys enjoyed the F-16 Maverick missile video. Welcome to the stream. Oh, hi, Stevie B. That was actually a change to the original schedule. I was intending to do a video on the helmet-mounted sight, the dotChuckles, and how to queue air-to-air missiles using that. However, in 2D, using the mouse to move my view around, I couldn't figure out a good way of filming that. So I gave up for now, and we have to come up with something a little bit different. Hello Tog, hello Frantic Stone, and hello Byron. Welcome to the stream. So yes, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it. I might end up having to film that in VR, and then play back the track in 2D and record the 2D. I don't really know. So anyway, we'll figure that out later. But in any case, without any further ado, I shall bring on board the one, the only, the dotChuckles.
I thought we weren't saying that anymore. I thought it was without any further shenanigans.
I'm going to continue saying it because if it upsets anyone even just slightly, then it's worth it.
Controversy creates clicks.
Yes, indeed. Actually, I wonder, do you have any suggestions, dotChuckles, for what video I should do next week? Because I don't know. I was supposed to be doing this Saturday. Today, it was supposed to be the dotChuckles, but I could not figure out a good way of filming it. So I might actually continue with the air-to-ground stuff for now, and then come back and do the dotChuckles later, once I can figure out a good way of actually filming it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because you're starting to get in the meat and potatoes. Like, what have you covered now? I mean, we've covered, basically BVR stuff.
Yes.
So, it's ground attack, and it's like, I guess there's all the CCIP modes, but you've sort of done that already, haven't you?
Well, I did all that in the Harrier. I've not done it with the F-16.
Well, maybe that's worth doing on the F-16 because the switchology is a little bit different. So
true.
Yeah.
Unguided munitions. That's probably the way to go.
Yeah, unguided munitions. Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go. Not even a minute in, I'm seeing chat from Frantic. Yeah.
Tornado. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, well,
yeah,
anyway,
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Perhaps we should continue with the DCS World News for this week.
Yeah, so, let's do this.
As always, oh no, I've got the wrong browser window. One moment. There we go. That's better. No. Black screen, nothing better on a live stream.
Yeah.
We're going to start, as always, with the newsletter, which came out yesterday, and has a small number of items in it. Saipan. The third island, included in DCS Marinara Sauce Islands, is currently undergoing closed beta. I don't know why I do that. It's not even funny.
What's with the lighting on these maps? Because it looks substantially different to my eyes. But it's the same engines. So, I mean, I don't know if they're tweaking the environment to make it do that. But, I mean, that first one of the F-16 there.
Yes.
It just looks... It looks mega. Like, that's yum.
It is looking rather splendid. It is. Yep. This is an airport at Saipan. Actually, let me check and see which Saipan International Airport. Oh, okay, there you go. So that's I guess that's kind of obvious. Yeah, I agree. Actually, like the ground textures and the lighting and the water shader are all looking very, very nice. For all we know, though, this could simply be the next closed release of 2.7, because the lighting and atmospheric model that is in 2.7 just now, they've said is like a first pass. Yeah. They are going to refine it. So that might be what we're seeing here, is just improvements.
Yeah, that's right. Because I mean, they're sort of looking at what we were talking about last week with the updates coming in 2.7. They're doing a lot of work with sort of humidity in the air and things like that. Mist and stuff, which obviously for this kind of tropical environment is going to be key to recreating a believable image. So yeah, maybe it is that.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe all the other places will look just as good as this very soon. Oof.
Well, we can hope. Yeah, I mean, it's looking Yeah, the lighting there is it's looking so much better.
Yeah.
And obviously if those improvements then end up working their way into other maps, good times.
Because I gotta say, some parts of the Syria map are kind of breathtaking. Like some of the mountain ranges and things like that, they look really good. And it's only going to get better.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone must have gone outside and got a color range on grass.
I know. Yeah. So not wrong. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's looking. It's just the lighting and rendering there is looking so much better.
Yeah. This is very much looking tasty. So, and a golf course. This is this where Harrison Ford is going to land?
No, that's virtually on top of a waiting Southwest 737.
The poor guy.
Yeah.
He was actually. Sorry, this is unrelated, but the idea of crashing on a golf course is genius because obviously you're surrounded by doctors and surgeons. So it's like obviously if there's anywhere I could crash, I want to crash on a golf course.
Yeah. For when you need immediate dentistry.
Yeah, he's a clever man, that Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's a
yes, look at that explosion effect though. Like, I mean, it's just oofed.
It is pretty damn good.
Yeah, man.
Oh, and of course the Hind. So
the Hind, yeah.
The other thing they're talking about, of course, in the newsletter this week is the Hind. They pay particular attention to the SPO10 and the ASP17, so that's the RWR and the gun sight in the Hind.
Yeah.
And of course, this week, Matt Wagner has released 2 videos on the Hind. One where I think he does like an introduction, basically.
Yes,
the second
the
one
introduction.
was, simplified cold start.
Yeah, which means we must be getting close because he tends to not put out the startup videos until quite close to release because it's usually like all the bits you need for a startup doesn't get put in until you're kind of close. So
yes.
Although it was abbreviated, but it's funny because it's basically the MI8 startup, but just everything's in a different space because the cockpit's laid out differently.
That was that was my exact first thought. I was like, oh, this feels familiar.
Yeah, but I mean, then that's the thing is because the Hind is an MI8 with a different body. So. Yeah,
because am I right in thinking that it's the same rotor system, same engine, same APU, like the running gear is all basically the same.
Yeah, it's an MI8, and they chopped the bottom off and stuck wings and a cabin and a big fucking gun on it.
Yeah. That Hind though, says Tog. It is looking nice. Perhaps just to tantalize people, I will play the startup video. I will skip it until we actually get to a point where he's doing things.
Yeah.
But here we go. Here is the startup video. I very much recommend that everybody takes a look at this. He does, of course, skip over things like testing Nadia and testing the fire system, and like all the tests I believe are not implemented at this stage, but he's able to do the basics. He was able to power on the electrical systems, start the engines, and so on. So looking pretty nice.
It's a combat startup basically. You skip the tests because you need to get into the air, but it is basically the MI8 startup. Like virtually all the same switches. They're just in different places.
Some of the panels are even the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just the commonality with the airframes.
And that same delicious blue.
Yeah. I must look into the reason for behind why sort of Soviet era aircraft were all painted that color. They must have done some kind of testing into it. Ivan didn't just look at his his Pantone cards and go, oh, that'll do.
Yeah. Actually, I read an article a few years back about this, and yes, it was chosen for a reason. My memory is now a little bit fuzzy on what it was, but I believe it was psychological more than anything else. Was the reason for the colour being chosen. So I don't know if it just made it easier to relax in the cockpit or what, but supposedly it was chosen for its psychological impact.
That's so Russian.
Yeah. And then I wonder how it performs when you're wearing night vision goggles. Because modern aircraft are often, the interiors are painted quite dark colours or black in order to work best with night vision goggles. So soothing, says Byron. Byron says it was for its soothing effect.
Yeah, because I'm sure the color of your cockpit makes sense when you got an AMRAAM heading your way, I've been locked up by an F-15, but I've got a nice shade of blue, so I don't care.
But Ivan, cockpit's so pretty. I don't know.
Yeah,
it is good though. It's a good looking cockpit, and I find it quite interesting. The fact that the surround for that mirror was motionless while the mirror was actually attached to the door moving in. I'm guessing that's
some animation issues.
Yeah.
So what I want to know, because I don't know much about the front seat of the Hind, is the gunner's sight. Does he have to twist and look down, or is that thing on a? Do you reckon that thing's on a movable mount? Because when you look at the schematics, it looks like it's basically a periscope that goes straight down through the cockpit. So that poor gunner has got to do some serious contortions in the front cockpit to look through the optical sight.
I know. I need to get another look at this because I don't. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah.
He never really shows it. Yeah. I think you're right. I think he does just have to contort.
Jesus, poor bugger. That's what a sod.
It was Kazi.
Yeah, because at least
Kazi says he heard it was easier on the eyes to adjust between the cockpit and the sky.
Okay, right. Well, that makes solid sense. Yeah. There's a cut down on contrast. Yeah, that makes solid sense.
Yeah,
but I'm just thinking of that poor gunner that's got a twist in his seat to look through the optical sight. At least the Cobra, their optical sight was, it was virtually in front of them, so they just had to lean forward,
And is it only for some reason they call the guy in the front an operator as opposed to a gunner? But is it only the operator who has the ASP-17? The pilot?
I don't know.
I don't know if the pilot has one. Actually, well, here we go. Let's go find out. Does the pilot have a sight?
He's got to, because I'm sure the pilot's responsible for. He's got a sight. Yeah, that's.
It looks significantly different.
HUD sight.
Yeah, that looks a lot more like a HUD, whereas what the operator has is that same sideways mounted gun sight that the Su-25.
Yeah, but I'd imagine he'd be able to get his grad symbology up on that, because ultimately it's the pilot that's got to deliver
fixed
munitions. So
that makes sense.
I would have thought he'd be able to get his grad sight up on that.
So I would assume what the pilot has then is actually somewhat multifunction, like an actual kind of HUD, whereas what the operator has is purely a gun sight.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's still basic. The HUD technology and Russian aircraft of that time was not.
Yes, not stellar.
Yeah, not stellar. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, we have that, and then, oops, I jumped ahead a little bit. We also had, there was this information about the Hind. They've done the quick start. They also talked a little bit about Petrovich, who is going to be your mechanical pilot man, and currently he can hover, apparently, and you can command lateral and vertical movements while in the hover. Latency in command reception by Petrovich is in progress. They were talking in previous newsletters about introducing human levels of response time. So you can ask your pilot to do something and he'll have to have a think and then do it.
Yeah.
Which I think that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
In the next update, we will share details on Petrovish flight modes and how to use it in combat.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I mean the while Jester in the F-14 is fantastic.
Yes.
The sort of the pilot mode, you know, when you switch to the back seat is a bit rudimentary. So, you know, if they manage to sort of bring that forward and bring that on, then yeah, great stuff.
Totally. And we've also got the SPO-10, SPO-10 RWR, provides visual and audible feedback in the form of blinking lights.
Yeah. This light blinking, you're gonna die.
Yes. When all of them start blinking, it's time to run away.
Yeah.
I think we've got some close-ups of... Ooh, that's nice. Very nice. We've got some close-ups of some of these. Oh, they're just teasing us with these. Yeah, there's good old SPO-10. So this is basically the same as what you see in the MiG-21.
Yeah.
I assume it has the same limitations in so much as it barely tells you any information about the emitter.
It's very hemispheric, isn't it, as well?
It is. It's very limited in what it can show you. And if people are particularly above or below you, it does nothing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess that's less of an issue for, you know, rotary wing because, you know, it's not like, you know, in the MiG-21, you know, if you roll, you very much lose your warning system. But
yeah, it's like that first time when you're new to the MiG-21, that first time you roll it over and go, oh, I broke the lock. It's like, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
You're going to die.
Yeah. You're still going to die.
So yes, SPO-10. And then actually here, mentioning the ASP-17, they show it here on the pilot's what I thought was a HUD. So this clearly is actually not a HUD. This is actually just a gun sight. Yeah, I am looking.
Yeah.
I am looking at the pilot's cockpit.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I find it hard. No, this is the operator.
Not.
This is the operator.
Yeah, this is the operator seat. Yeah.
It's so hard to tell the difference between the two. Okay, so yeah, maybe the pilot does have a HUD. I don't really know. I'm not familiar enough with the Hind.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've jumped forwards a little bit. And the last thing that was here in the newsletter was what they call new ground units, although I think these were all already in as of the last update. But anyway.
Yeah, it's sort of more, the Mephisto is quite nice. That model's pretty tasty.
I saw somebody demonstrate that thing in Combined Arms, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I mean, the Hot missile, I mean, that's, that's like 200 pounds of fuck your day up, basically.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a pretty good missile. So
yes, and yeah, we've got these self-propelled howitzers, the T155. We have the PT-76. What is that doing there? I don't know, but it's a bit of fun.
little tonk.
Yes, just a little tank. The Leopard, which was actually already covered in the previous.
Yeah. This was stuff. Well, actually, is it? Because it's the 2A4 and the 2A4 TRS, whereas last week.
You're right. Yeah, they covered other models, but
it was another model. Yeah,
it's still more Leopard. But that said, these are really nice models. So you can tell they've been putting the work in here. This is very, very nice.
Yeah. It's interesting thing about the Leopard is I watched a fantastic video on the first Leopard and its river crossing ability.
Oh, it has a river crossing ability?
It does. It can submerge up to about 4 meters.
What?
It takes about 20 minutes to prepare the tank to do so. But the reason why it was limited to 4 meters is because basically there's a chimney that sits on top of the commander's cupola, and he's standing in the chimney at the top of it. And there was this video of this Leopard about to do a river crossing with him. It just looks ridiculous. But that was its limiting factor.
But if you can do that and other tanks can't, that's pretty good. So that's a benefit.
Yeah, but I think kind of other tanks at the time didn't need that and could just wade. Yeah, it was crazy. That was of course the Leopard, the first Leopard, not the Leopard 2. I think the Leopard 2 has a different capability, but they were saying it takes about 20 minutes it took about 20 minutes to prepare the Leopard, and there was 23 different openings that needed to be covered, stoppered, and blocked before they could do it. So,
wow.
whilst it took a while, they said it was quicker than building a bridge.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Snorkel for the win. And then we have a fuel Bowser, which I'm pretty sure they already covered as well. I'm getting a lot of deja vu with these model updates.
Yeah.
And in this one, I know they covered in the previous newsletter.
Yeah.
They're obviously
we commented.
Yes, they're so proud of it. They want us to see it again. That's fine.
Yeah, we commented it wasn't the MiG-15 engine mounted on a truck.
Yes, exactly. Much sadness. So that was the newsletter this week. The other thing that happened this week, on Thursday, in fact, was we had a hotfix, just a small update, but good to see. I didn't really notice anything particularly exciting here. Really just bug fixes, all of which, of course, are very, very good to see.
Yeah. I mean, the crash on press and couple mode was a pretty big fix for the F-18, because that became the oops button. So the F-18 fixed some pretty much, they've fixed some pretty much game breaking bugs there. So that got introduced. So that's quite big, and then some random MiG-21 bug fixes and things for people who still fly that.
Yes, and actually a little bit kind of telling is the fact that they've had to move around the SPO10 code. So this tells us that the Hind SPO code is, of course, making its way into the engine now. So that's interesting. And so I assume the MiG-21 is now using Eagle's model for the SPO10.
Who knows? I mean,
because originally Magnitude had their own model for the SPO10, both the systems modeling and the physical model.
I mean, what are Magnitude 3 these days anyway? I mean, are they still even an entity?
They're still pushing updates.
Yeah, well, yes, but are they? Are they pushing updates, or is Eagle caretaking that module now?
I have no idea. But the state that the 21 is in just now is actually pretty good. For a time it was going through a lot of flux, and like graphically in the cockpit at least, it was starting to look a bit messed up. But it has been patched up and fixed. So I don't know who's doing it. I assume Magnitude 3 is doing it, but
somebody must be doing it.
Yeah, somebody's doing it. So whoever's still on the case, I very much appreciate that. I've not taken up the 21 for a long time, but I would like the opportunity to.
Yeah, because for a long time it was broken. It was just badly broken, and nothing was happening with it. So good to see that somebody's got the lights on.
Sadly, the gun sight rework has not happened yet, I think. So the gun sight still relies on some magic to always get the right figures without you having to actually set up the radar.
Right. Okay.
But still, it's mostly good, apart from that strange behaviour of the SP. But yeah, not a huge deal going on in there. The other one that I noticed was the Mirage 2000C update from Razbam. They put out a bunch of information here. In the next months, the team worked on fixing and improving the updated INS, as well as various minor issues. A lot has also been done to the PCA. The PCA is the weapons select panel, by the way, and air-to-ground weapons logic and symbology on the VTH, which is for some reason what French people call a HUD. This will be the focus of the next big update. We also have, we hope, some pleasant additions to the Mirage's arsenal. And actually, on that point, additions to the Mirage's arsenal. Get a look at these BAPs.
Look at them BAPs.
We had to. We had to.
Yeah.
BAP 100 bomb. This reminds me of a Durandal. I don't know if it is a Durandal under a different name, but drops on a parachute, gets close to the runway, fires a rocket motor, digs under the runway, and then explodes. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what you use when you're not allowed to use JP233 anymore.
Yeah, that thing was just a bit cruel.
Yeah, it was a bit mental.
Yeah,
And now contravenes several weapons bans. So
yes, we're not using those
yeah,
anymore. And here we see
yeah.
the DEC mode of the radar. I don't know what DEC stands for, but I know it means that the radar points down and displays ground returns, and you can like fly at low level without crashing into the ground.
So how I understand it is that anything green is okay, and anything red is bad. Is that basically
Yes.
If it's red, it's above you. If it's green, it's below you. So
yeah, I forget the exact logic, but I know that you use the antenna elevation control to set your safe altitude, which is here, HD 1500. So by moving the antenna elevation, you can change that number, and then that controls what it considers to be red or green. So pretty cool. Shame that it doesn't just use your current altitude.
yeah, well, I guess if you need if you're looking for area to escape to, you know, you've got an escape route. You know, so if you're charging along at sort of 2000 AGL,
Yes.
If you want to give yourself a hard deck down at 200, then you can see the areas you can escape into, I guess.
That's a good point. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, the aircraft that have similar functionality being the Viggen and the JF-17, and in both of those it uses your current altitude. This is kind of a neat bit of extra functionality that you can adjust it. And they also talk about having tweaked the pull-up queue to be more useful. I don't know what that means, but useful pull-up queues are good to have. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this looks like it's definitely the fruits of Razbam working with L'Armée de l'Air, or French Air Force,
Monsieur.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm sure this is now basically a desktop trainer for them, isn't it? The Mirage.
Yeah, it has been for maybe as much as a year now. I don't know. They've been using this as their desktop trainer for a while, and they've been getting direct feedback from Armée de l'Air. That's pretty cool. And I know that there are French people watching this right now and slapping themselves in the face each time one of us pronounces that, and I apologise.
Sorry.
We're sorry.
Yeah, but just get them to try and say Ochtermuchty and then see what fucking happens.
Exactly. Well, some Scottish people can hardly say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually. I think this is really good. Like the M2000C is already in a pretty good state, in my opinion. And it just seems to be getting better. And I think this is kind of, to my mind, this is the jewel in Razbam's crown. The Harrier has been good and bad and good and bad, and just now it's actually pretty good, but it's been so variable, whereas what they've been doing with the M2000C, I think, most recently is pretty commendable.
For a while, it sat in the doldrums and nothing happened with it, and it got left behind by other modules. But now, it's starting to come back in at the prime time, and you do see it on some servers being used as red air, quite a lot, which is good. I have a funny thing with Razbam, like. They make goods, like the Harrier now is good, the Mirage is good, but they've promised so much. They have so many modules that are supposedly happening, and the Falkland Islands as well, which I'm sort of eagerly awaiting. And it's like, it just makes me worry because they've taken so long to get, the Harrier and the Mirage to what I'd call a good DCS level.
Yes.
And it's just like, how long are you going to take with the other stuff?
Yeah.
But, at least they seem to get there. They do seem to get there. It just seems to take a really long while.
They're still here. They're still pumping out the updates, and the quality is improving. So, I say thumbs up to Razbam. Well done, guys.
Well, I mean, they had a storied they had a storied history in Microsoft Flight Sim. You know, like Razbam had been around for years.
Yeah.
You know, doing stuff in FSX and the previous versions, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So you know, they're not. You know, they're not some. Yeah. You know, they're not some people that just appeared out the woodwork for DCS when DCS got, oh, okay, we're opening up the third parties. And you saw all sorts of people coming out of the woodwork that really didn't have much of a clue. They might have made a couple of mods for FSX and then suddenly went, oh my God, this is a lot of hard work, and then disappeared. You know, so, you know, yeah, they've got a history, they've got a track record. It just appears to take them quite a while to do stuff.
Yes. Yes, they do get there. And I like some of the... You know, they have come out with some really nice innovations. So this laser scanning to create pilot bodies. And they've now even started using laser scanning for things like the MiG-23. They laser scanned the MiG-23
but
cockpit.
they weren't the first people to do that. So
Was he
there was a No, right. So the first people, and I could be wrong on this, I could be wrong, but the first people I clocked doing LiDAR scanning there was a team based in, I want to say Ukraine, that had access to a fallback.
Ooh.
And they were going to do... Hang on, let me just...
I vaguely remember this. Yes.
It was a TU-22? No.
TU-22M, as I recall, actually.
Yes, yeah, they were going to... Yeah, that's right. They were going to do a TU-22, and they had access to one, and they were going to make it. They were going to model all the systems. They were going to have all 4 crew in it. And it was looking super promising because the TU-22, I think, would have been quite an interesting thing to fly. You know, hugging the sea at like 5 foot, traveling at Mach whatever ridiculous with, you know, 3 guys in the back doing electronic stuff. But they LiDAR scanned the whole aircraft, and they did the cockpit, and they had pictures up of all the LiDAR scanning. This was about 5-6 years ago, and then all of a sudden, the hammer came down and it went. And I don't know what happened, but it was just like, yeah, we can't do this. Sorry, bye.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and it seemed like it was something that was external that shut them up. Like...
Tog
Who
made
knows?
a comment about Razbam, and I just want to give him the sound effect for that.
2 hours later.
Yep.
There you go. I've got you.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm quite.
I remember this.
Yeah, I'm quite sad. I'm quite sad that the TU-22 never happened because it was looking super, super promising, and I think it would have offered some exciting options on maps. But yeah, the hammer came down on the project, and from their sort of quite cryptic posts, they said, yeah, it's not an internal problem, we can't do it anymore. But they did have access, I think, at a museum in Ukraine to a TU-22.
Yes.
That they were just allowed to crawl over. So
probably got threatened to be sent to a gulag, says Tom.
Yeah, well, yeah, quite possibly actually, because I think it was the same time that the MiG-29 was being mooted as an actual module, and I think you know, certain people in certain air forces went, no,
not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yep.
Okay, on to the next bit then. We have a video that you found from Lanky Pilot 77, and he was doing a bunch of tests with bomb damage in relation to delay fusing.
Yeah, this is really quite interesting because obviously we talked, I think, a couple of weeks ago about Eagle Dynamics updating their damage model. So it looks like some of this is starting to come into the sim, because I thought for a long time, setting your delay fusing and all that kind of stuff was it was a bit of a gimmick in the stores page, but it now looks like it actually makes a difference.
Yes.
So what he does in this video is he basically bombs a runway and sets it to instantaneous versus delay. And the delay fuse does indeed have a different damage effect. It creates a larger crater, obviously, because the bomb penetrates through the tarmac, goes underneath, explodes, and lifts the tarmac out. But he has also gone and sort of hit buildings and things like that and modeled what delay fusing does with sort of hitting building targets. So this stuff isn't just a cosmetic button to push in the store's management. It's actually having an effect in the game.
I saw Grim Reapers also do some tests around this with the hardened aircraft shelters, and they also found that yes, it does make a difference. So yeah, pretty cool to see that's actually working. What's this?
Yeah, so
I too love to be sent to sleep by
with
the snore net.
The snore net.
I don't know what that means, Car.
What are you? What? Some words.
Yes. Anyway, yes, this is really, really cool, and it's nice to see this. Now, of course, the damage system in DCS is still very much points-based, so there's still a lot of limitations here around what can be simulated. But hopefully, Hornet.
Oh, Hornet. Oh, okay.
See, Car, that was just too clever. There's no way that we were going to get that.
yeah, you're too clever for us. Thing is, though, what's interesting is that he then landed on a runway that he damaged, and it used to be that these were just textures that didn't. I mean, look at that. That does look bloody good, doesn't it?
Wow.
It used to just be textures. Now it actually has an effect. When you hit it, you buck over it, and he tried to land on a runway, and the runway was denied.
Yep.
He broke his plane doing it. So it's no longer just cosmetic. The damage modeling is starting to get updated. So good things are coming with that.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, like if they can get away from this kind of... But they've talked about this, actually. So to kind of summarize what they're doing with the damage models just now, they've already implemented the more advanced damage models for World War II aircraft. They've said the same system is coming to modern-day aircraft, and they have hinted, maybe not confirmed, I'm not totally clear, that it will also come to combined arms.
Yes, that has been heavily hinted, and I mean they're talking about things like terminal ballistics as well. I'm sure that's been brought up, and so for those of you who don't know what that is, basically, right now when you get hit by something, you lose a certain number of points. And when you run out of points, you blow up, basically. Whereas terminal ballistics actually charts the path of the projectile through your airframe or through your vehicle, and what it hits, it then damages. So, depending on where you get hit and how the projectile moves through your aircraft, it'll knock certain systems offline. So in theory, you can fall foul of the golden BB. Or you can take a pounding and still be flying. It's going to be much more random.
I am very excited about this. And of course, the modern aircraft are the ones that are getting it next, so that's not long now. The other thing that they were talking about, though, is cascading systems damage. And this is more a thing for World War II aircraft, where, of course, the oil all pisses out of the engine and it seizes, that kind of stuff. But they're going to be doing the same thing with modern aircraft, and I think that would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, cascading damage is still a thing in modern aircraft. I mean, you take a generator offline, that is then going to start having a knock-on effect, and things will switch over to standby power and batteries, which will then run out, and then do I have a rack? Can I deploy that? And so it's going to actually start, because right now there's not many points. There's not much point in learning the red action items, the bold action items on a checklist, because the damage model. You can't troubleshoot your aircraft, basically, because it just doesn't work. Whereas now, with this kind of system, it's like, okay, actually, the boldface actions I can learn, because I might be able to stop the failures and actually get the aircraft home. So
interesting question. Sorry, it's somewhat related. They've been, I believe the damage model for the F-18 is still a work in progress, but they have expanded it significantly. It used to just be a case of you took some hits and either you blew up or you didn't. Now there is some systems damage, but have you ever had an engine fire?
no,
Neither have I.
I've never had an engine fire. No.
And I have lost systems in the F-18, so I've taken damage, and I think I've even... No, I haven't even ever lost an engine, actually. So I've never had any kind of engine failure due to ground fire. So there's clearly still a bit of work to be done there.
And I've never had any system fail due to mishandling.
Oh, well, no. And that's like across pretty much all DCS modules. I don't think I've ever had that.
Which, well, you get it in the World War II aircraft.
Actually, you get it in the F-14. I've broken my INS in the F-14 through rough manoeuvring. There are certain maneuvers and certain high levels of G that you can pull in the F-14 that break the INS. So
I mean, for example, in the World War II aircraft, if you're running at high RPM with your carb vents closed, you're going to blow your engine up. Now, okay, with things like, in the F-18, you got FADEC, which stops you from doing stuff like that. But, there are still things that you can do, like, depending on in terms of how you power up systems, that you can break things, and none of that's modeled really. You can happily flick all your switches, put them into startup, press the battery button, and your aircraft is going to start up. Whereas in reality, what's going to happen is you're going to blow a bus bar out. So it's like, if that stuff starts getting modeled, then I'd be quite excited.
Yappy Dog, once again, bringing to our attention the C-101. C-101 EB will catch fire if you push the engine too hard. That's interesting.
All right. That's good. Well, we were talking about the 101 last week and saying that it's really come on as a module, and see, look at that damage modeling.
Yes.
Just now in the video, the chimneys have collapsed in, and it's really getting good, isn't it?
It's getting pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Nice work, Ed, and everybody else.
Yeah, we approve.
Yeah. Well, actually, Frantic makes a good point. I have had this. In both the Mi-8 and the Ka-50, you can mishandle the engines and have them fail or lose power. And actually, now that they mention it, the Harrier also has engine damage modelling. But in the Harrier, that's pretty essential.
Yeah.
And the UH-1.
So it's happening in the third-party modules, but not the ED modules.
Yes. Although in their defense...
Yeah,
in their defense, both the F-18 and F-16 damage models are absolutely work in progress. So maybe some cool stuff will come. Actually, we still don't have the go no go tests on things like the HUD and the recording cameras and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Entirely pointless, but it'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
So yes, that's that. And then I've got a couple more tabs. What are these? What's this, Chuck?
Yeah, right. This is last week. We were talking about the difference between US pilots and British pilots going through the Mach Loop, and we talked about the story of the tornado going through the Mach Loop. I love the like the focus on Boy in front is like, he's like, I am fighter pilot, I am God, my ego knows no bounds, and the navigator's just like, he's a fucking shit.
The other thing that I like about this image is they're both wearing their oxygen masks, as they should be, so you can't really see their faces, and it's a low resolution image, but I can still read the expression on that navigator. He is having a good time.
The thing is, what is quite impressive is I know where that photograph is taken, and that's quite a hard turn. You're probably doing about 3.5 G there. So that's quite impressive. That
This boy's a professional.
yeah,
I suspect he's pushing his hand against the canopy. Canopy glass.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's still impressive.
But it's I just love it because I mean you see when the F-15s go through and stuff, they've all got their American flags in the cockpit and it's all yeehaw and we're just like Beano level humor, you know.
And here are the British just taking the piss.
Yeah.
I have another tab. I have another tab here.
Oh, what's this? Oh, yeah.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, this is a classic. Yeah, so anyone who's ever left the ground power on and then started to taxi the aircraft away, and as you're dragging the power cart behind you, and probably the crew chief because his headset is still connected to your aircraft is getting dragged away. This is what you're going to hear in DCS. You always hear, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah. So I'm guessing this is, well, we talked about this. This is unconscious pilot recovery, we think.
Yes.
So
and you said
this
looks like an F-35, which
I think it is.
I think you're probably right.
Just with that canopy bow, the cockpit being hinged at the front, I think it's a 35. And I don't see a HUD either.
That's a top. Yeah, it has to be the F-35.
Yeah. So I think it's the F-35. So this must be them doing their right. This is how you extract a pilot from an F-35 cockpit.
I like the dedication from this pilot. Well, maybe it's not even a pilot. It's probably just ground crew playing the part.
Yeah,
that he's actually got his eyes closed.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, in our time we've all done casualty evacuation simulations, haven't we? And you've just basically got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm hurt. I'm injured. Rescue me.
Ow!
Stick him on a stretcher. Ow! That hurts. Ow! Yeah. He's really going in the part, but he's definitely not wearing. If it's an F-35, he's definitely not wearing the right bone dome.
True. Yes.
He's got the. That's the sort of crappy bone dome he's got on, but I think that's the 35 because no HUD, canopy bow hinged at the front. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna have to indulge chat because Frantic appears to be saying he has an opinion. And his opinion comes with research, so let's indulge him and put your opinion and your research in the chat, and we'll tell you why you're wrong.
Frantic, I'd love to agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
Yeah.
Actually, in fairness, I think this one's anyone's game. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's suddenly I'm less sure, and I think I'm going to be out about 80 quid in a year's time, maybe.
Yes, totally.
But also very happy at the same time.
Hey.
Oh, he wasn't prepared for this. You see, you get told to put your money where your mouth is, and now suddenly,
Whoever wins or loses, we all win.
Yeah, we all win, definitely.
Totes.
So, yeah.
I think that's all the news that I have this week. It was a slightly lighter news week on this occasion, but most interesting and entertaining nonetheless.
Don't call me out, bro. This is it. We're starting a DCS beef.
Hey, that's fine. I'm here for the
There's
drama.
going to be call-out videos on Twitter, and
they used to
the drama channels will be blowing up.
Response videos used to be a thing on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Such and such speaks out.
Absolutely. I speak the truth. Yep. I think that's pretty much all we've got for this week. As always, follow dotChuckles on Twitter. No, Twitch.
Twitch, yeah.
I like the PlayStation. Do you like the PlayStation? Anyway, yes, on twitch.tv, check out dotChuckles. You've been playing Valheim and a bunch of 40k style stuff, I believe.
Yeah. Oh God, what we've been playing? We're playing Valheim tonight again. We've got to expand Line Kiwi Longhouse as we've moved on from Fort Off You Fuck. And yeah, we were playing Deathwing. Which is good fun.
Yes.
Incompetence Wing, as it was called. But yeah, lots of Valheim at the moment. I am probably going back to do a bit more War Thunder because I like my tonks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
thank
so
you very much
that's
for the shout
stuff.
out, Ali. I'm glad that you enjoy the tutorial videos. I'm going to be continuing to produce those. That's, you know, I'm going to maintain this pace. You know, every Saturday you're going to get a new tutorial video. Next week, dotChuckles has decided that I'm doing unguided munitions in the F-16, so I will oblige and provide exactly that. And at some point in the future, I will figure out how to do helmet-mounted queuing and actually record that. But yes, every Saturday you'll see me doing my tutorial video, and we'll be doing the DCS news after it. So, as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. Fly safe, and I'll see you all next time.